break's over, and we're still in the art of negotiation because it's just so important. Again, knowing who you're working with just really helps us to be able to do our job well. Did you stop sharing?
No, I'm trying to let Leo listen.
How dare you?
I wonder how long she was at. Hey, you know what's great about that?
Pop up.
Anyhow, yeah, you can go back and Leo will post this whole thing, but we were talking about the emotional side of buying and selling, which was the first part of this, which is the big part of negotiation is understanding who we're working with. So that's important to know. But right now, this is another part of a negotiation. Typically, with sellers, it's going to be a price objection. It can also be with buyers right now, just saying. But you know, this is a way we can go through this, and of course, this is in our app files. This part of things, it's a script. Ask them, what price do you absolutely have to have? Well, why not ask? However, I'm going to counter this. Have your homework done. Don't let them pick the price of the house. Or you can say, you know, we can price it at that, but then I'm going to be coming back to you in a couple of weeks and saying, hey, we've only had 2 showings. Everybody's saying it's overpriced. And or they'll say, well, nobody said it's overpriced. It's like, well, we haven't gotten any offers. What does that tell you? I've been doing this a long time. What it tells me is we're not priced effectively. So based on that, a couple of important questions we want to ask. Specifically, why do you feel your home is worth whatever amount it is? And why do you think it's worth more than your neighbors? Everybody thinks their home's worth more than their neighbors. They've got the best home in the neighborhood. You need to show them the comps. And then it's also tricky because like their home has a pool, your home has a pool. Yes, your home has some more upgrades. We're not going to get all your upgrade value back. It's just the way it works, and it kills people.
Do it for yourself, or did you do it for the future buyer?
Right. Yeah, if you do it for yourself, it's creature comfort you want to enjoy. That totally makes sense. It's going to help your home sell faster, but it's not necessarily going to get us a higher price. Now, if we can get it into multiple offers still in today's market, great, then we will. But we need to bring them to today's marketplace. And a lot of times it's like, hey, I put a new roof on, I've got a new AC. It's like, yeah, you've simply brought your home up to normal selling standards. I don't know why you didn't do all that maintenance work ahead of time. People do all this maintenance work at the end when they're ready to sell the house, when they could have been enjoying these things themselves when they were there. I think it helps even when we're talking to people to show them that, give them checklists, give them ideas. Hey, you know, most homes in your neighborhood got their roofs 3 years ago. You waited. I don't know why. All homes need a new roof, right? Whatever you want to put in here, a new AC system. Need to be waterproof. Windows need to not leak. You know, these important things. All of them need a paint job every now and then. I'm glad you painted the house, but all homes need that, right? That makes it a maintenance item.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If a buyer wants to buy your home, but they plan to get rid of that bathroom that you put in because it's not their style, the moment they buy your house, they're going to get rid of that. So then how much is it worth? I know you love it, and somebody else is probably going to love it, but what if they don't? Did you do it? And this is Leah's question. Did you do that for your buyer or for your own enjoyment? It's important to point out things that are for people's own enjoyment. That $200,000 pool you put on a $300,000 home will be doing good to get 60-ish plus back for it. Maybe. Maybe. Depends on the comps, right? And or if you've got an all cash buyer that just loves it. If you're purchasing a new home and had 2 similar homes over for sale, one for, well, let's say 500 and one for 400, which one would you buy? These are simple things to ask. And these are just things I just sat down and I said, well, what do I get asked all the time? Wouldn't you use the extra $100,000 then to do what you wanted to do to the home? You've already done it. A lot of people are looking at it going, man, if I'd have done it, I'd have really had the quartz countertops, not the granite. And I sure like white cabinets, even though those wood ones are really nice.
I just rather have X.
I would just prefer, right? So don't you think most buyers would feel just like you? Now we've gone through these things. Of course they didn't. But you've got to break that down in a nice way. And you've got to know the personality you're speaking to, right? Because now, if you've got the analytical personality, they're going to be really pissed that they spent money and they're not going to get it back. And now they're wondering, do you really know how to do your job? So now you've got to give them all the data you can overwhelm them with humanly possible. And then they'll still want more. So that's why I'm going to recommend a price of $380,000, whatever it may be, based on what we know. Do you want to list your home tonight? All we need to do now is simply sign a contract, so I can help you get what you want in the time frame that you want. Wouldn't you agree? The time frame. This is important to mention because if somebody up here is still stuck on, well, yeah, I understand you're saying it's only worth $425, but I want $500. Okay, let's talk about time frame. How quickly do you want to sell the house?
30 days.
Okay, but right, and this is difficult, and I like that because I go, okay, and we could do that, but wouldn't you agree that at 500,000, we're probably not going to sell it in 30 days,
right?
Based on what I've shown you,
Based on the
it's
market.
based on the data. This isn't me. I'm not the one telling you what your
And that's always the thing you have to remind people of. I feel like it's just the data.
It's just
It's not even my opinion.
right.
It's literally what I'm here. You see,
This is it. This is what I'm basing on.
yeah.
Right. And sometimes, if they don't get it, you need to take them on a tour of homes that are available for sale for the amount of money they want to sell theirs for and make them go, oh,
Right.
I didn't know. Okay. So overcoming price objections begins before the what's my home worth, in my opinion. Current market condition discussion. We need to talk to them about, hey, we're not looking at homes that sold months ago or even last year because our market right now is in a shift and it is adjusting down a tick in general. Again, unless you're in unique properties. If you're on the water, I just looked at one that went up $60,000 in the last 3 months on the water. And it has, and it will get more. It's amazing. Explain what an appraiser looks for and how they value things. Again, this isn't you. If you can take you out of the equation, and they'll say, you're saying, yes, I'm saying that this is what an appraiser would look for when they come out and value the home. It only matters if we have a loan on the home. Well, we just want a cash offer. Okay, let's go back to that time frame thing.
Right.
And
And
you know,
the price of your home and location and all those things.
so point back and then, hey, you know, I can also look and tell you how many homes in your neighborhood actually have sold for cash. On the water, yeah, it's not uncommon for us to get a whole lot of cash offers, but multiple offers right now are not as often. And the only reason we're going to get a multiple offer is if we set the price spot on where it should be today in today's market, because those pent-up buyers that we're looking for, what's priced right and is well maintained, are going to come out of the woodwork, and then I will get a multiple offer situation. Typically, we'll ask for you know, all offers to be reviewed in 4 days, which makes every agent throw up. That's bringing you an offer, and that's okay. And you
Most
have
of the time, they try to put it underneath your pants too. They try to fire you up. Well, my fire's leaving in
they're not,
today.
yeah, if they don't get it today, they're
Right.
out. Now, if it's an all cash offer, you need to take that very seriously
Yeah.
because that.
Or if that is the best offer that they really like, like, all right, it's up to you guys.
Right, and here's the important thing, even in our notes in the MLS system, when we get into multiple offers, we need to make sure that this is the absolute cutoff day. Buyer or seller reserves the right to accept any offer at any time. Bring your highest and best offer now. That's important, okay? So most people talk with their neighbors. So they think they know what their home sold for. And it's surprising, but some people fib about what they got. They want to feel really good that, you know, they got 400, but they're going to tell you, we got 499, our full asking price. It's just awesome. Data. Do your homework. Oh my gosh, do your homework, guys. I can't believe how many people won't open up the MLS and see what's going on in that neighborhood and have that homework with them. If somebody invites you in their house because you door knock and they say, what do you think it's worth? You know what? Let me do my homework. Because without all of the data, I would just be giving you my opinion. What I'd prefer to do is give you a realistic,
A professional. I can give you my opinion right now. I can tell you the price, or I can actually tell you my professional opinion. Yeah, I can give you.
Unless you've sold a ton of homes in the neighborhood recently and you're watching it all every day, here's where it's really good. You've done your homework ahead of time before you go door knocking. Well, you know, that one over there just sold for That was sold for, well, that kitchen was really bad. Man, they painted all the walls purple. I know they don't think
They
that's a
had
big
penny
deal.
countertops.
Right.
You'd be surprised.
Right.
Like,
But it's gonna turn some people off. So we need to do our homework, right? And we need to let them know we're here to get their homes sold, not to ask for price reductions in a few weeks or a month. That's just not our goal. Now, if it's not gonna sell, that's what we're gonna do. And sometimes I think the home will sell for more than it actually is gonna sell for. And I'm like, you know, and I'll go back to the seller and go, I can't believe it, but the market's speaking. I really thought your home would get one. Or I wouldn't have had you price it here. And you know that, you know me, and then we'll go down that trail.
Yeah.
So now we're handling specific seller objections. This is again in our scripts. And we're thinking about X company, or we've never heard of your company before. I understand. Most people actually, I would just sidestep this. Most people actually hire an agent.
I'd say, I don't think
not a
I've ever,
company.
I've never heard
And,
someone really, they'll be like, oh, I've never heard of that. And it's not like an objection to where they don't want to use it. They're like, oh, I've never heard of that. Like, yeah, brokerage over in the industry for 20, 30 years. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's it. Like, that's 99% of the time.
And I don't ask, do you feel I can sell your home? I
Yeah.
say, you know, I can sell your home, right? I present things a little differently, but some people aren't as driver as I am. But I'm like, you know, I can sell your house, right? I've sold how many over here?
I've,
So let's list high. We can always come down later.
Yeah.
That was good a year and a half, 2 years ago. For sure. I understand you want to leave high to leave room for negotiation. Have you considered the problems that might create for you? Most people don't even bother looking at homes that are priced too high. Would you rather have a bidding war on your hands as a possibility, or have an opportunity to negotiate any offers at all?
Yeah.
You know, here's the option. You can not have an opportunity if we just price it too high. And here's what happens. Our market adjusts, right? It speaks. If you price it too high, the home sits on the market. You have to have a lot of showings, and hopefully you have showings. Or you don't have showings, and in 10 days, you get a call for a showing in 1 hour, and you've got to say, the house isn't ready. And you go through that process, and then you get calls from your agent saying, hey, you know, we overpriced the home a little bit to start with, right? Why don't we go ahead and drop the price now and get it sold? And you go, okay, finally. So now the price comes down to where it should have been to start with. This guy over here lists his home 10,000 under where he thinks it should be priced.
You're still below.
Not tremendous.
Yeah.
10,000 below. And he has showings, 12 showings in a day still. And everybody's going, what is that agent doing differently?
Yeah.
Just effective pricing, because now we're going to get multiple offers. Typically, it's going to bring the price up. At the very least, they sell it for 10,000 under, and it's sold immediately, and they don't have to deal with all the headache.
And the craziest thing above all is the fact that how much the length of a home being on the market really does affect sellers, buyers, and even agents.
Yeah.
Because agents, in my brain, I'm like, what did other agents see if this has been on the market for 100 days? What did I miss?
Like, what did they not?
Yeah, what did they not?
On that note, here's what I love. We want to think it over. That's great. 3 minds are better than 2. Let's think out loud together and tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people now, again, this is for certain personality types, right?
Yeah.
If you pick that up and pull that on an analytical person, you're going to lose them. Or an amiable person, you're going to lose them. Unless thinking together, they just need more data, where they really want to review all the data. Great. How about if I give you a call back tomorrow? What time's good?
Or in 3 hours.
Yeah.
I've begun to try to do the same day, especially with analyticals. Be like, because again, sometimes you give them too much time, they'll even think themselves out of their dream home. I've learned that is like, nah, that just isn't the place. And then the wife, well, Tracy, the wife is like,
Get mad.
the wife is like,
They
this
want to,
is
like,
everything I
figure
want.
out.
This is everything I want.
Yeah.
And the husband, and you're like, okay, let me just, yeah.
So right here, now on a purchase, you're right, it's a big decision. Yet the decision must be made based on what you want, correct? Let's do this. We can sign the contract tonight, contingent on your approval within 24 hours, if that helps. That way we can both win, and I don't need to come back. If you'd like, I'll just show you how. Let me show you.
That was
Hey, you'll have 24 hours with no pressure. That'll make you feel more comfortable, right? How about you're signing an as-is contract? We describe the contract, so your inspection period, you can get out of this. But if you don't get it in contract, and somebody else, now here's what always happens.
Never be able to.
Here's what always happens. By the time you fall in love with this, 2 other buyers will too. And their agents are probably writing their offers right now.
Mhm.
Why don't we go ahead and present this and,
Just
again, and, we can leave your 2 weeks inspection period. And, if you change your mind in that period, we're out, based on your sole discretion.
What are you seeing the average inspection periods now? Back up to like 10?
7 to
I'm
10.
saying
7
7
to
and
10.
I'm still, presenting 14.
Wizard.
I presented a 10
I'm-
and someone came back and was like, we can do 7.
Yeah, so that's it. They've got to come back to me if they want it to be shorter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a matter of,
Like, oh, this is just what my buyers are wanting.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, the buyers just said that's the industry standard. Why don't we go with that?
Mhm.
That's why it's written right into the minute.
Right.
But you, but you're
I
saying,
want to hop
but you're
inside
saying you
your
sell it
closet.
in a brush room?
Yeah. So funny.
And on the other side of that coin, of
Right.
course I want a shorter. inspection.
Yeah. So funny how in your playing, you have to play such a different game when you're the listing agent, when you're the buyers. Because like as a buyer, I want as long as possible with some buyers.
Right.
Because if
Yeah.
they're cold feet people, you're like, let's do 4 days. And
Yeah.
Now you're locked in.
How about this? Why don't you guys go ahead and sign it? Sleep on it, be confident in your decision. Let me know in the morning. If you say no, I'll just run this thing through the shredder. Because if I'm meeting somebody in person, I don't go back and send it through app files. Well, I do after I load it, but I'll handwrite it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a handwritten contract other than everything handwritten is on top of and is looked at prior, above anything that's typed in that contract. So handwritten contract is still excellent. Okay?
This was a really interesting thing with one of my clients, with Ginger, actually. I had her do this. And she was under the impression, which I had no idea that she was, that once she signed it, it was like automatically somehow one to the seller. And I had to,
Yep.
just for like future reference for
Yeah.
anyone else using app
Yep.
files.
Yep.
your
I have to
buyers might be
explain,
under
oh,
that
hey,
impression.
just to let you know,
Yep.
they
Like,
still have
no.
to sign this, they still have to go over it, they still,
Yep.
and they're like, oh, I thought it was in
Until
contract.
you give me my,
Yeah.
it'll sit in my filing system.
Right, that's the thing. Or I'll just hit delete.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem. How about I have a friend in business? Gee, does that happen to any of us?
No.
Never.
Well, it's
You
funny,
know,
is I
here's the
have, I
thing,
have
I've
that
come
with
up with
the
so
guy.
many more.
That guy next to my $1 million listing that I had up in Ruskin,
Uh-huh.
he literally showed up and said, man, you sold this thing fast. I was like, yeah, I told you, man. Like his name's Wayne.
Right.
He was like, yeah, like I told you I was gonna take care of it. He's like, nah, there's no way someone's gonna buy it at this price. I'm like, you gotta trust me.
Right.
And now every time I have a conversation, he would call me. So how's this stuff going? Well, that's going great. And I'm like, you ready to sell your house? He's like, well, my friend, man, if I don't listen to my friend, he's gonna be, I'm like, well, you said your friend hasn't done anything.
Well,
Right.
that's these questions.
You're right, and then you stopped me up for a reason.
You
I
sign me up.
pretty much said that without saying it in a way.
Well, why not?
Right, like,
you called me.
right, well, no, why did you always ask me about
I
those
was
stuff?
asking my
Yeah.
opinion, like,
Friends at this point.
Yeah.
all right, because we are recording this. But it's good too, because people will realize these are real discussions. So you called me for some reason. You're always asking me for my opinion and my information. Don't you think I'd be good at selling your house? And this is effective in selling your home. Make these scripts your own. It's a guide, guys. It's not this is the only way to do it. Study these things and have these things ready so you can answer. My favorite thing I have a friend in the business anymore is, you can throw a rock in our area here in a crowd, you're going to hit a realtor. If it bounces, probably hit another realtor. They don't all do the same thing. Have you seen my sales number? There's a reason I sell so much. Because I really care about people and I care about what we do. We're attentive. I have the market resources. We have the knowledge, and I make it about you guys. It's not about my opinion, it's about yours. Right into your reasoning of this is why, and this is my universal sales proposition for you right here. It's what I do. Some people will say, I'll sell your home in 90 days or I'll buy it. Those folks are going to price it accordingly, right? You can overcome these things. My latest postcard I just did, after another agent had just done that, and I know the training, I went through the same trainer at one point, as I don't think we can get enough training. I still go to trainings. It's so interesting. But I put on my card that went out this time to our neighborhood, no gimmicks, just proven results. I think that overcomes all of the other little things that these folks had on theirs. So another agent said they could get me more money.
Mhm.
We can look at this all you want, but the fact of the matter is, are they doing what we call buying your listing? In other words, they're going to get you to list with them. That's the key thing. You're signed into a contract with them. And then, a week from now, they're gonna go, oh man, I started looking at the comps in the neighborhood and I'm really thinking we're a little overpriced. We need to bring it down. We haven't gotten many showings. And they'll start working with you and working you over on the price to get it down to where it should have been in
Now
the
you
first
feel
place.
obligated.
Right. So I'm not afraid to just tell you the truth. This is what I think your home is worth. And I think that based on the numbers, this is where we ought to list it. I've been doing this a little while. I really think that this is the wise move. Now, some other agent can come in and definitely sell you on a higher dollar number. Look at the comps.
And you know what's
Are
crazy?
they gonna get it?
I had this exact thing happen to me. And you know what? I saw them randomly at Papa's and they literally said, just want to let you know, I'm sorry. We should have went with you.
Sure.
And they said, we were dragged around. We got in the house. They made us buy a house and we didn't want to buy. Like all this stuff. We felt
Yep.
so pressured. It's like, when we sell, you are our agent.
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
that's awesome. But I
Yep.
just wish you would have trusted me in the first place. And
Yep.
she was like, me too.
Yeah.
And if
And,
you're just honest,
The thing is,
people
right.
will realize.
And then, hey, don't forget, here's my card.
Yeah.
I understand the scenario. I look forward to helping you in the
Yep.
future. But, these are the things we go through every day. And I think it's important to remember these scripts are there. And even for me to go back and just to read through these, it really helps.
Mhm.
How about having sold any homes in my community? This still happens to me occasionally. It's rare, but it happens. Especially in some of the new home communities. It's a valid concern. The reason you choose me now is that my brokerage sold thousands of homes throughout this area, which we have.
Yeah.
Meaning that you, when you sign, you're exposing your property to a bunch of potential buyers from all over the country, not just your community. Is that kind of exposure very important? People can do this however they want, but here's what I roll with. Check out our 5-star rating from the community. Only 3% of agents get this recognition. There's a reason we do. Selling a home, varying communities does make a difference. I guarantee I can be a professional in your neighborhood on your neighborhood data in one day. And these other agents that have sold more in here probably aren't even going in and looking at what's going on in the community now because they think they know it. I don't think, I study. You'll like what I do. Oh, okay, well, that answers that. What do you do to sell homes? And this valid concern, I mean, again, guys, say it however you want.
Mhm.
We can talk about the fact that do you sell homes? 2 kinds of real estate agents, passive and active, and it's real. And there's
I
also
skipped one more. I apologize.
another thing I say to some people, not to diss anybody that we work with now that are part-time, but I say there's part-time and there's full-time agents. This is all I do to provide for my wife and family and to keep a roof over our heads. It's one of those things where I'm not trying to tell you that you shouldn't use an out-of-town agent, but I'm here, I'm active, it's what I do, I know the community. What would you like to do? And, you've got this choice right now. If you're another agent in our area, would you like to see an out-of-town agent that you're gonna call that doesn't know really anything about your community? Or they look and they go, oh, it's Kent.
Right.
It happens.
And even if you happen to not be quote unquote full time, like where you're like, maybe you are a mom or you.
Right, so then it's
et cetera. You can still stay. Full time is
Oh, yeah.
35 hours.
Oh, yeah, well, here's what you can say.
I work full time.
I thought you worked over here. I do. I have 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
this business.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
I'm still doing it.
All right.
I'm full time.
I keep thinking I'm gonna should just go over to here, but I really love what I do there and
Yeah.
serving people and helping them too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We want to cut your commission.
Now.
No.
No. Love it.
And it's okay to just say no. If somebody asks you that, it's okay to just say no. You work way too hard. People
Right.
that are cutting their commissions are cutting what they do for you too. They just do. They're not gonna be able to do the marketing we do. They're gonna think it's like the market was 2 years ago. It's not.
They're already losing their negotiations with you. How do you think they're gonna feel with
That's-
you?
Yeah, they're not negotiating well for you. And these are important to remember because I've got that in here too. Oop.
Keep going. Oh, you're going
I'm
back.
going the wrong
Yeah.
way.
You're good.
Come back,
There it
baby. Baby, come back. Anyway, lower commission. Let me tell you why this makes me nervous. Here it is. They can't stand up to you regarding their own value. How are they gonna defend your home value? I will get you more money than that agent will. It's just, it is what it is. Now, tough to say that when it's an agent that is really hot and heavy in the community and they're working for 2%. It's like, you know, the reality of it is they're probably not working for 2%. They're working for 3%. They're paying out 2%. So their total is 5%. However, what they're doing by doing that is limiting the pool of agents that really want to show their properties because agents have bills to pay. Do they want to come to somebody that's paying them 1% like Lennar was?
Buyer.
I mean, I'll go and find out. Like Lennar was, it's not a lie. Some of these builders were just burying agents that are trying to work so hard. Or a flat rate thing, which is just not fair to the agents, and they're devaluing them. And in doing so, it tells them, please don't bring your buyers to us. But we don't look at it that way. We still want to get our buyers into whatever's the best for them. It just hurts us. And then they raise their rates and pay us more when the market goes down. It's like, wow, how stingy is that? So be like a kid in our daily negotiations. Use why early and often. And I should put in here, remember your why. Okay? Asking for discounts with mortgage lenders, with title companies, at a yard sale. Perfect your skill. Go to a thrift shop. Work them down on a price. And then, you know, do like me. I can't help it. I do it because I love to negotiate. I'll get them down on price and I'll pay them full price and I'll say, sorry, just what I do for a living. I can't resist it. It's just so fun to negotiate. I know I've blown some people's minds doing that, street vendors and such. You know, one little old lady, I couldn't help but negotiate with her because she was a tough negotiator. I got her to cave and I paid her full asking price and she cried. But it was one of those where it's like, didn't mean to make you cry. I just enjoy negotiating. I wanted to give you the money, but a street vendor, you know, so try for a win-win scenario if possible. And then, you know, you go to the things like even daily negotiations. How about this for a negotiation? They win. You have a server, they do a terrible job. Do we not tip them?
Still tip them.
Do we reduce our tip? Some people do. I believe now I've come to the conclusion based on some friends that I have. I now tip based on who I am, not the performance they give. Now, if they're over the top, they're probably going to do better. But I'm never going to short somebody that's trying. Or it's just the servant. Help others to understand your perspective as part of a negotiation. Same thing with husbands and wives. That's what I was saying earlier. Where do we go to dinner? You know, I want to blank and, you know, create the situation. Others want to be heard and listened to. This is hard for D's, high D's and expressive people to just stop. Realize we need to shut up sometimes. I'm talking to myself and we need to really listen to other people carefully. I've gotten much better at listening since the Lord blessed me with $3 to life and email time. But my life is good and they've tried too. And sometimes they understand that we just don't understand. So we need to realize that too. Some people we just are not going to be able to negotiate with, and we're not going to be able to see eye to eye. And that's especially going to happen with somebody whose outlook on a negotiation is they win, period. That just doesn't work for me. Price adjustments. It's a daily negotiation if you're a listing agent. And again, or if you're selling anything or buying anything, getting buyers to make an offer. How about sellers to consider an offer? I've had sellers that go, that's crazy. I'm not accepting that kind of offer. I'm offended they brought that to me. And I'm like, is it better than the offer we had 3 days ago, 2 days ago, yesterday? You have an offer. Stop. Please breathe. Now, think about this. Right on that offer, it says accept or counter offer. Let's counter.
It's a beautiful thing called counter.
Yeah, let's counter offer. They're just saying, hey, let's get started. We want to talk. And it's great when a buyer goes, hey, I'm here. Talk to me, please. Isn't that better than what we had yesterday?
Nothing.
All of a sudden people are like, yeah, I see your point. Yeah. All right, shut up. Yeah, what do I sign? What do I do? It's good though, but we got to remind people because people do get easily offended when it comes to things.
Especially their home. You're trying to help them see
Much
their house.
Much harder than a commercial sale. Commercial sale is just simply a matter of, does this building meet our needs? Is it in our price point and in the location that it needs to be? check, 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 where do I sign?
Mhm.
And you better have that to me very shortly, because if somebody else comes in between, you're fired. Repairs, just saying, it's just a different transaction. Repairs, a buyer's job or a seller's job. How do you respond? It's all a negotiation. You might bring an as-is contract. I have a seller that goes, you brought me an as-is contract, it's as-is, that's where my sellers are at. If your folks don't want it, let's get out of this contract now, because we're gonna put it back on the market.
Yeah.
That is a negotiation style. It's a hardline negotiation. And here's the difference. If prior to accepting that, they say, here's what my seller is going to say, if you bring me any request for repairs, I think it's only fair that we pre-negotiate that too. And you can pre-negotiate. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we pre-negotiate with a buyer's agent or a seller's agent as the representative? Maybe I can get them to do this. It's always a maybe. I'm gonna ask. Can't your buyers come up some? I mean, these are things we shouldn't talk about a whole lot, because it can be considered a trust issue. And we're definitely there for whoever we're representing, right?
Mhm.
So we need to be very careful. You must be the breath of fresh air that deflates the uptight feelings. This I have been called numerous times. Kent, your breath smells like coffee. No, it's the fresh air. It's coffee too, but it's when I walk in. Well, let's just say it's a husband and wife, and they're arguing about what to do. I walk in, I start just talking to them, and we'll go over the comps and whatever, and they just say, man, when you come in, this peace comes in with you, and it's this relaxed thing. Of course, we're trying to deflate uptight feelings. I also believe that's the Holy Spirit, but I'm not supposed to talk about this. Anyway, but I do believe that if we have beliefs, we're going to be happier people too, and it helps other people not feel as uptight. Buyers whining about interest rates. Oh, this is so silly right now. Educate them about the market shift. Duh. Yeah, rates are coming up. Imagine that. Did you think they could actually stay at under 3% forever? That was the first time in our history that I've ever seen such a thing. And you know, yeah, but the thing is, it's interesting. Sure, now they can buy a little bit less, but if they're renting, how much is their interest rate, Leah?
100%.
Yeah. So know your goal. And you're talking with buyers, sellers, buyers agents, sellers agents. Know your goal. Write them down. Guys, this is so important. You're negotiating contract. You better have it bullet pointed or print the contract. Highlight the areas you want to discuss so you don't forget any of them. And be sure that you are doing the best possible job for your buyer and seller. Because a lot of agents don't. They'll just go back to their seller and say, hey, it's what the buyer wants. That's it.
And that gives you again, you're in negotiation with your seller even in the process. Like, yeah.
But do we stay in the deal or not? What do you want to do? There are those that have personalities of rocks that somehow, it's the old thing, even a blind squirrel gets a nut every now and then.
Yeah.
It's one of those. So, but we need our goals. So that's negotiations. And that's all I had for today. And I know it was kind of a long one today, but when you get into negotiations, they can be long. And we need to be patient. And we need to help people work through them, not stop and fight. This is let me help you get to the other side of this. It's okay. And it's okay to not be happy about the whole negotiation.
Right.
That's fine. And let people know it's okay that they're upset. That's normal. But now we still need to get a deal done. That's your goal, right? And that's their goal. You need to remind them of their goal. Your goal is to sell a house, right?
We all want to sit at that closing table, right?
My goal is to help you get there. Yeah. So, any questions?